time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Thursday episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. It's Nielson, it's Cass, it's Gager, and it is Hernan Salas. Two Guys and a Goalie brought to you by our friends at Coolbet Canada. And Chris Abbott will pop by a little bit later on. If you're watching on the live stream, feel free to comment. Of course, subscribe to the podcast at Two Guys and a Goalie. Lots to get to as the Oilers take two more from the Jets since last time we spoke, boys. But first of all, I do have to say thank you very much, all of you submitting a birthday video to the surprise video that my wife put together with like every human I've talked to in the last 20 years, which was incredible. But yeah, thanks for the video, boys. That was awesome.
How long did it take you to get through all those?
32 minutes. The video was 32 minutes long. I was sobbing like a little child for parts of it. It was good. I had my one buddy, Gwyn, who, if you listen to the radio show, the creator of Renee, he must have gone on like 3 minutes just in character by himself. It was just like, Jesus, Gwyn, wrap this up, buddy. Wrap this up. But it was, it was very cool. So thanks, boys. That's good. It's cool being 40 like the boys. You're this little baby now, Cass, on the podcast.
I know. That's why I'm just calling all you guys old balls. Like, I'm just gonna say it and expect, like, if I need attention, like I'm trying to get one of you or I'm asking you guys a question, I'm just gonna say old balls, and it's going to reference all three of you.
I guess I got to get used to responding to that. Gager, you've been responding to old balls for a long time. Does it kind of just become natural?
As the resident oldest balls on the podcast, I have to thank the manscaping machine. They take it's like Botox for your balls. Take a few years off.
All right. We've got lots to get to. We got to talk about it. Chris Abbott's going to pop by a little bit later on. They set that McDavid total, 99.5 points, and I'm sure they've already adjusted it because he put up 3 more again last night. It's actually not on any of our, we got to talk about it. So let's just go there. McDavid's got 15 points in his last 5 games. Cash, you're shaking your head right now. It's insane, isn't it?
Absolutely insane. Like, I get speechless with how ridiculously good he is. And just to go back to a discussion we've had about the Hart Trophy and people that would vote for somebody else, like how you can't. No one else can even be in that conversation. Like, people should just write Connor McDavid as number 1 and leave the rest of the card blank. Like, there's no one else that's even in the discussion here. And what he is doing is just, it's ridiculous. It's the best season from a point production standpoint in 25 years. You could argue, just based on the modern game and the way players are scoring now, that this is the best season in really 35, maybe even 40 years. Like, it's just ridiculous. You have to go back to early Mario and Gretzky to have a season that is this dominant by a player in terms of point production. It's ludicrous.
I would even I was talking about this with one of my buddies, and I think we haven't even seen the best from him yet. And that's the scary thing. Just looking at his age, and I'm just using Sidney Crosby as a comparison, because if you all look back and look at how Sidney played his first few years, he dominated with speed and he made people look slow. And I think obviously with a few more concussions, I don't think he could play the same ways. So he changed the way he played, and he became a much more, not that he wasn't already, but a much more cerebral hockey player. And the scary thing is, to me, is McDavid's at an age where he's still learning so much, and he's going to adapt his game to be even more efficient to a certain time. Like, he's going to just keep getting better, and he's going to start using, I think, one of the things that he doesn't have to use as much, just because he blows by people with just his skill alone. But once he incorporates even more of experience into his game, that's that's really frightening for a lot of defensemen and teams to play against, because it's I don't think we're close to seeing what the end product will be.
And keep in mind, like, he's eventually they're going to find him a mainstay winger there, right? Like, I think what they want going forward is Draisaitl, McDavid centering their own lines. And I mean, just with Jesse on one side and say they find a legit top 6 guy to play on his other, like, that's only going to help him even more. And I'm with you. I'm with Cass on the sense where, listen, McKinnon's he's on a 15-game point streak. Austin Matthews is going to score 40 in under 56 games, which is unreal, but it's not close. It's Connor McDavid, and kind of with what Gager said, he's only 24. Like, this guy, holy smokes, I can't even imagine what he's going to do in the next couple of seasons as well. And it's just great to see, guys. And we're very lucky. And I know we've said this countless times on this podcast, like, especially for us old balls. We got to watch Gretzky, Messier, Coffey. We've seen the greatest of all time. And now we get Connor McDavid. I mean, man, we're lucky here in Edmonton.
You know what's crazy is if you'll look back on his career, you'll see his point totals from year to year, and it's 182, 108 in 82, 116 in 78, 97 in 64 last year. That would have been a total over 100. And then you're going to see another 100 in there, and like we'll look back years from now and be like, oh yeah, that was the year he only played 56 games and he still got 100 points, which is just unbelievable to think. And Gager, as you sit here and laid it out for us that, you know, there's still more to come and it could still be better. I don't disagree with you, but it's so hard to fathom that you could actually dominate a league more than he has this year, even though I agree with you that could be coming, which is just, we haven't said that about any other player in a long time. Like, it's
unreal.
It's crazy, man. I got no words. I got no words for this guy. It's crazy. All right, let's get to, we got to talk about it. It's brought to you by Break Kings. I have committed to doing a card break tonight after the Oilers game around 10:30. So we'll see how this one goes. I've got a inner case of the brand new SP Game Used, so I can't open it until we go live on the break. But check this out. The boys got me hooked up with like the little card stands. A 2 guys and a goalie card stand.
No way.
How
nice.
sick is this, boys? We've
That
made
is
it.
good. We have made it.
It's
Well,
pretty
they've made
big
it
deal.
at Dusty's house. I don't got anything over there.
You know what? I'll get you. I got a cool bet swag sitting here. We just have to see each other, and then we'll make that work. All right. So hop on Facebook. The group is Break Kings with a Z. If you're in the card collecting game, Break Kings with a Z on Facebook. Let's start with Gager. What do we got to talk about, buddy?
Well, I think start with the goaltending last night of Mikko Koskinen. I can speak firsthand of how difficult that is to come into a situation where you've been off for 3 weeks. And with the team playing well and with Mike Smith playing the way that he has, there's even more pressure to perform. And I thought he played really, really good. I hate being right, Dusty, but when I say that he needs to be put in a situation where he's pushed and the other guy plays well, I don't think he's a starter, but he has this. I mean, I guess if you look at the way Mike Smith's playing, he's kind of had to, but he's really fit in nicely since Smith came back into that backup role. And I know I've really wanted to see Mr. Stalock in there, like that just in case factor, but I think I'm a little bit less. I have a less of a need to see him after seeing how Mikko performed last night. I have a little bit more faith in his game, and I can. That is so hard to come in after that much time off, and I believe Dave Tippett was saying how hard he's working, and he likes how the goalie coach Dustin Schwartz has worked with him, and they've been working on certain parts of his game, and it might have not looked the best at times, but there were certain situations where he was calm in net, and there was one point where it was a jam play, and I think a lot of times you would see a lot of extra movement, and sometimes the puck would even go underneath him, but he was stable in there, blocking off the posts, and it was a good game for him, really good game.
What'd you think of his game, boys?
Yeah, no, I'm with Gager. He always makes me a little nervous, but yesterday he was solid. He didn't look shaky, right? He wasn't giving out bad rebounds. He made a huge save in the first on Stastny off the Kulikov turnover, and then in the third, he was solid. He just looked calm, looked confident in there, and it was great to see. And I'm with Gager. And listen, he wasn't playing. The Oilers have been off for so much with the COVID cases and all that, so it was more of a case that the Oilers didn't have a lot of games, and they were rolling with their number one guy. So good on Koskinen. He's kind of moved into that backup role, and that's what you want from that guy, to come in no matter how many games he's been out. And like Gager said, it's hard, but he's working his butt off in practice, and it's showing because every time he gets called into action here in the last month or so, he's given the Oilers some great goaltending. So full marks to Mikko Koskinen. He could have sat there and pout and not be happy with the amount of games he's playing, but he's doing the opposite. He's working hard in practice, and when he gets in there, he's giving the Oilers quality minutes. So it's definitely a good sign for the Edmonton Oilers that they have two goaltenders that are going right now. So full marks to Mr. Mikko Koskinen. He's been solid.
Yeah, full marks for last game. I let my breath go after he made that first save.
Yeah.
I get you guys are happy with how he played last time, but do we forget the reason that he's in that backup position and how often that first horrible goal has gone in on him? I don't know. You guys are old balls. I thought you guys should remember, something, or is the memory already going for all you old guys? I remember that he has not had he's had a couple okay starts, but he's also been incredibly shaky at times. So I'm happy he played well. Good for him to come back in. Hopefully he keeps it going. I'm still not overly confident. I'm just not. You can't. I don't think that players are overly confident in him, especially early in the game, where it is. I think even for guys on the bench, where that first shot goes and you just the sound on the bench, where everyone's just holding their breath, waiting to see if it goes in or not, no matter where that shot is coming from. And if he makes a save, everyone's like, "Oh, okay, he's going to be good today." But there's just been too many days or too many games this season where he hasn't been there. So I'm happy he played well, but I'm not as excited as both of you guys seem to be.
But Cass, there's that's why I was saying he still makes me nervous, and you kind of can tell off the first couple of shots what kind of game he's going to have. But now he is the backup. Mike Smith's the number one on this team, so I guess I don't have as much a problem with Koskinen when he's he's not going to be in there in the playoffs unless Mike Smith completely stinks out the joint, right? This is Mike Smith's net going forward, no matter what.
Yeah, what's interesting here is that since Smith returned, you guys might have saw the tweet. I think Reed Wilkins tweeted it last night after the game. Since Smith has returned in 10 appearances, Koskinen has a .929 save percentage because he's in that role that he's supposed to be in. So, I'm kind of with Cass saying that if Smith went down and they had to go to Koskinen, I wouldn't be oh God, don't worry, they're going to be okay. But Koskinen coming in with a spot start here or there, the numbers have actually been pretty good over his last 10. So I like him in his role right now. I don't want to see him be thrust into that top spot again. And if he made $1.5 million, everybody in this market would absolutely love him. But
he doesn't. That's the problem.
I know.
That's the
thing. So if he made, I just don't know what to do.
If he made $2 million.
Yeah.
If he made $2 million, if he made 2.5, give him 2.5, and I would be okay, maybe a little bit overpaid, but okay. But not where he's at.
Yeah, 4.5 for what he's bringing this year. It's a little steep.
All right, let's stick with we got to talk about it. Let's go to Hernan. Hernan, what do we got to talk about, buddy?
Yeah, Oilers-Jets. Oilers took the series 7-2. You heard Connor Hellebuck saying yesterday post-game that season series is not going to matter in the playoffs because the playoffs is a man's game, and he believes they have the right men in the dressing room to defeat the Oilers 4 games. So it's something me and Tom discussed yesterday on the post-game show as well. How much stock, especially Gager, Cass, you guys played pro, do these players or coaches or whatever take into a playoff series when you were, let's say, dominated by a team, or you dominated that team? Do you just you don't throw it all out, but does it mean much knowing that the Oilers dominated them going into the playoffs in a likely matchup that we're going to see, Oilers-Jets?
I think it only matters in that first game, and depending on how that first game goes. Like if you're Edmonton and you control that first game well, then maybe it creeps into the back of their minds. But if you don't, like that regular season's gone. Like, I mean, that's just like the whole analytics thing is like you can look at two teams' analytics heading into a playoff series, but the reality is you have to completely throw that out because, you may get an idea of which team is a better team heading into it, but you run up against a hot goaltender, well, you're going to have an outlier. Well, someone gets hot and has a couple of lucky bounces or fortuitous bounces. Well, yeah, they're going to win, and it's going to throw all your analytics and all your thoughts out with it. And it's the same thing with this. Like, you may have outplayed them. You may have won the season series, but it is a brand new series, and it doesn't matter what you did in the regular season. You're starting off on equal footing here. And if you allow them to be on equal footing, I think we'll see a lot more of the style of game we saw in the third period yesterday, which was even, and at times Winnipeg controlled with their forwards and put a lot of pressure on Edmonton's D. So I don't know. I don't carry a lot of that into it unless Edmonton steps up really early on in the series and just controls it. If they don't do that, and if there's any kind of life that is given to Winnipeg, just throw out the season series.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, you can plant a splinter in the back of someone's mind throughout the regular season. But again, like Cass said, that all depends on how that first period goes. If Connor comes out and has 2 points and they're up by a few, and Oilers go on to win, I'm sure every beat writer is going to say, well, you weren't be able to handle them in the regular season. They will get constant reminders of it. It's a very, very important first game for both teams. One, to put all that stuff to bed, but the other team, like looking at the Oilers, if they were to have a performance, even just win the game. Like, they don't have to dominate. They can, as long as they just win the game, and that could creep into the backs of minds of some of the players that, oh, geez, we just can't beat these guys. And that's what you want. You want them to not think that they can beat you, for sure.
Because let's say if it was flipped and the Oilers were playing Montreal, like, would we be that concerned about Montreal? I would throw that season series out and be like, this is this new series. Because I agree with you guys. I don't think it matters much what you did in that season series outside of little things and stuff like that. But like Cass said, you run into a hot goaltender and everything goes out the window, right?
I think it's more important that they were able to score on Hellebuck pretty consistently throughout I think for the most part, when you see a goalie start playing really well, like when you watch Carey Price in the playoffs, it's funny how many times you see guys with full clear lanes to the net and not think they can score on him from there, so they're looking to pass. So I think that's the most important thing that they've established throughout this regular season series, is they've been able to put pucks and make Hellebuck look quite mortal instead of a Vezina trophy winner.
I would just add this in because, I mean, you guys make good points. The hot goaltender, I mean, it could change a series, whatever. And Connor Hellebuck can say all he wants about, it's big boy hockey in the playoffs, and I think we'll be okay. But let's be honest. It's not like all of a sudden the Winnipeg Jets blue line becomes a bunch of showstoppers and can contain Connor McDavid in the postseason. They simply can't. They haven't all year. Like, you can't tell me that all of a sudden Tucker Poolman in the playoffs is going to be able to pivot properly and stop Connor McDavid. Like, it's just, Connor McDavid just set an all-time NHL record by having multiple point games in 9 consecutive games against the Jets. You couldn't even shut this guy down once. So just because it's the playoffs, I don't think something's going to magically turn around for the Winnipeg Jets. So I like, there's a hell of a lot more for the Jets to prove in the early stages of this series than there is. I mean, so if the Jets win game 1, Connor McDavid comes out and torches him for 3 points in game 2, and all of a sudden we're still talking about this is the regular season McDavid that we saw against the Jets. So I just don't think Winnipeg's blue line's built for any sort of playoff hockey. I think that's going to be their downfall in the end. I mean, there's a reason that Winnipeg plays well when Hellebuck is amazing, and when Hellebuck is just average, they've lost 5 in a row. So we'll see how it plays out. But no matter what, it's going to be a hell of a series from an entertaining perspective. Like, it's going to be incredible hockey to watch. I don't think it's going to be a boring, oh my God, why are we watching this playoff series? I think it's going to be a doozy. So, and I think that benefits the Oilers, who also, on top of it, are a better defensive team than the Jets. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think I'm reading a little bit into it. Maybe I'm reading into the head-to-head regular season too much. But when you can't stop a guy from getting 2 points once in 9 games, I think you're a little bit concerned heading into the playoffs. Cass, what do we got to talk about, buddy?
All right, so we know that Austin Matthews scored his 35th goal, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Correct? All you old balls know this? Okay, so I want to ask you guys a question.
You're getting me with this. That's good.
Kind of an old little sort of keep it or clip it, I guess. But I'm going to propose something to you, and I want to hear your reaction to it, or see if you agree with it. Alexander Ovechkin will never outpace Austin Matthews in terms of scoring goals in the regular season again for the rest of his career. Prove me wrong.
You
say that again,
whippersnapper, with your hilarious questions.
Alexander Ovechkin will never outpace Austin Matthews for goals scored during the regular season again.
Ooh.
Not going to do it.
Whew. Oh, Cass. That's a good
Come at me, old balls.
I am going to ever again.
Barring like an injury or something to Matthews.
Okay, yeah, let's add some. If they both are completely healthy, like just to say it's going to happen. They're going to be healthy.
Yeah,
They're all
healthy.
both going to play 82 games next year. I say no. I think the grade 8 is will still outpace Austin Matthews. He's gonna want to catch Gretz a little bit more. That's what I think.
Cass, Ovechkin is what, 36, 35? And he's
old balls.
He's old ball.
Yes, but they're Russian balls. You see, Russian balls little more how you say
vodka.
the little bit tougher than North American testicles. They have that the Chernobyl, the big Russian, the radioactive nuts.
I don't know if I'm with Cass. Austin Matthews, oh man, like the goal he scored yesterday, he's only getting better as well.
Great.
Kind of like a Connor McDavid. I mean, he's got 35 goals, and he's truly amazing. So I'm with Cass. I don't think Ovechkin will beat him here going forward.
Are we talking for like a full season, Cass? Or are we talking like for half a season where Ovi outscores him for better? Or does it have to be the full season?
Full season. He's not going to beat him again. He's not going to score more goals over the course of a season than Austin Matthews. Yeah. Barring Matthews having like.
I still think there's another Rocket Richard in Ovi's future, man. You can't doubt the guy. No. He had 48 goals in 68 games last year. He was on pace for like 55 last year. He's a freak.
I'm thinking he's going to.
It's a great question, man.
He's going to start hitting walls here a little bit. Like it's going to start to slow down, and we've been saying that for a while, but I do think we actually start to see it happen. So I don't think he does it. Like, I think he's still going to be great and score a lot of goals. Like, still take him on my team, but I think Matthews just will outpace him.
Yeah, it's a good question, Cass. Damn.
You always look to the numbers. Big analytical guy you are, Cass.
Huge analytical
here
guy.
We are. Huge analytical guy. That's good. All right, we'll continue with we got to talk about it coming up here in just a little bit. I've got one more thing to talk about, and that's got to do with the Calgary Flames, who play the Oilers tonight in a Battle of Alberta. Right now, we've got Chris Abbott from Coolbet, and before we bring in Chris, I hopped on Coolbet to just see if they'd taken down that McDavid number. Well, it's back. It's still sitting at 99.5. The over's now minus 167. I think it was minus 133 yesterday. But while I was there, and I don't know if we had him set this or somebody else did, but Tyson Barrie total points regular season over under 49.5. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's bring in Chris Abbott from the presenting sponsor, Two Guys and a Goalie, Coolbet Canada. How long has that Barrie prop been up, Chris?
So that went up today, and
Okay.
really, really funny. I got a message on our internal messaging system this morning that said, "Have you guys seen this?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Well, it must have been Nielson. We thought you did it." And I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, he's gonna love it." So I did the background, and a customer came in and asked for it. So they wanted Tyson Barrie over under 49.5 points, so we gave it to him.
Was it Tyson Barrie?
Yeah, no, it was Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a couple games left against him. That's right. That's not a bad one either. I think that's good. Hey, we're just talking about Matthews. A goal last night that he scored was ridiculous. His 35th, batted down around a guy off the post and in. Cass, throw your question to Chris here. See what he thinks.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. I had a pretty, I don't think it was a bold statement, but maybe a bold statement was that Alexander Ovechkin will never again surpass Austin Matthews in terms of goals scored during the regular season, barring like a crazy injury to Austin Matthews or something.
I'm going to say that's correct. I think Austin Matthews is only getting better. I think Ovechkin's probably going to have some more injuries. And I think when you look at the divisions and the goaltenders that Matthews is going to be playing against and Ovechkin's going to be playing against and the styles of play, I think the Leafs are going to play probably some more higher scoring games against some not as strong goaltending over the next couple of years. So I'm going to say, he'll never score more goals than Austin Matthews again.
See, Dusty, you're wrong.
No,
let's get that up on there. Can we get a cool bet? Will Ovechkin ever win another Rock of Richard if Austin Matthews is still in the league? We'll see what we can get for action. I do appreciate you, Chris, getting the McDavid thing up after somebody asked for it. And I mean, now he's 16 points in 9 games. It's probably going to hit 100 points, which is just absolutely insane. But did you get some action on it right away? I would think you probably did, eh?
We did actually. Yeah. Like as soon as it went up, we got a bunch of bets, and a lot of people came in on the under because it was plus money and he needed to average like 2 points a game. Like it's a big ask, right? It really, really is. And then he goes out and puts up 3 last night. So yeah, I mean, they did take it down for a while. You just said they recalculated it. So it's funny, man. I mean, the guy is an absolute machine. And I think I saw one of your tweets, Dusty, that asked if he's got another level. I think he does. Like he's only in the league a handful of years. He hasn't hit his prime yet.
Yeah.
I think he's
Chris,
just at the beginning of his prime. Just into the beginning. I think we're going to get like 3 to 4 supernova years here from McDavid, which better lead to at least one championship for this market, or people are going to absolutely lose their mind, which is crazy. Gager, what do you got there, buddy?
Well, I just love this site. I got the Kentucky Derby coming up, the NFL draft. But I found something yesterday, my performance, and I just have this little light in there, and it's 83.83%, kind of reminisce of my goals against save percentage. So really cool that you're matching the numbers there. But I was trying to go in and just looking at how my score is calculated. So I don't want to put you on the spot, but what is the Elo rating? Can you explain the Elo rating to me?
I can't really. I know there's a link and a definition to it. I don't know much about it, to be completely honest with you. I know it's used as a statistical analytics tool, so maybe Cass can tell you more about it. But it's used to compare. It's used to compare across spectrums of results. So we've got a link to the Wikipedia article. It's not. Listen, I'm a sports guy. I'm not a smart guy. So it's just a system that kind of spits out a number that talks about your performance and consistency based on some baseline, performances. So basically. Whether you're betting $1 or $1,000, it just talks about your success rate.
Wow, because I'm 83% of better than all users. Like that's
what's the acronym? I want to look this up.
Elo.
I think Elo. I don't know what it. Just look up the Elo rating.
Yeah. I was gonna say how do you spell Elo?
ELO.
ELO.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if
just
there's
like
a
it
W on
sounds.
the end or.
Yeah, no, I don't know much about it, but I do think it's pretty cool. Like, yeah, you can go in and see your betting performance versus everyone else on the site, across sports, individual sports. Like it's done kind of in a graph. For some reason, my basketball bets hit more than anything else, and I don't bet a lot of basketball. So it's really interesting, and you can go in and see what other people are betting. Of course, we've talked about like the incoming bets feature. So there's a lot more on Coolbet than just going in and placing your bet and walking away. So we're actually working on adding some more things that really create a community feel and part of it.
So this isn't
All right,
bullshit
Gage,
just to make me bet more. Like I'm actually doing
Gage,
well.
I can explain to you what it is, just in like regular people non-math terms, without understanding the actual formula that's used behind it. Basically, that's like how you're doing compared to everybody else.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
if you have a high rating, that means you're doing better than most people. If you have a low rating, it means you suck.
Yeah, it's I guess kind of like a bell curve, right?
Yeah, sort of. But it's mathematical. Basically how you're doing in a zero-sum game or in a non-zero-sum game.
Is there any way?
But yes, to answer your question, Gager, it is certainly a tool for us to keep people on the site longer. It's one of these things where every web-based business looks at how quickly people leave their site and close out the window. But if we can keep you interested by providing something more than just the odds, then yeah, you're likely to stay on the site longer and likely to place more bets. That is ultimately what it comes down to.
You're welcome for keeping the average of that up then.
I was just wondering if we could bet on Gager's Elo score from month to month. Is that possible?
I mean, yeah, we try not to post things that could be influenced by outside forces, but yeah, we might be able to do that. What will be Joaquin Gage's Elo score in the month, of May, for example?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me get to work on that.
Maybe we'll just do it privately, just so that it stays above board. Is like we don't tell Gage what it is, but then the rest of us we can go in on it. Maybe wager a couple packs from Break Kings and turn into cross promotion. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
leave it with me. Let me see what I can work out. We'll try and do something there for sure.
For sure. That'd be great.
Excellent, Chris. As always, buddy, we appreciate the visit, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks for making that McDavid total thing happen.
Hey, no worries. Anytime you need something, let me know. We'll take care of it.
There you go. That is Chris Abbott from Coolbet, who's still working on the odds for the Nielson versus Gager 10-shot showdown, which will be happening at some point once we can get back into a rink with good ice, because I'm not doing that on outdoor ice. There's just no way. All right, one more thing with we got to talk about it, and I want to just go Oilers get the Flames tonight. It's obviously been a disappointing year for the Calgary Flames. They had the coaching change in the middle of the year, really didn't move the needle in much. Basically, I want to get your guys' thoughts on what happens to Treliving here at the end of the season. The Flames are on the verge of being eliminated. You've got Sutter in for the rest of this year, next year, and the following one. Like, if you're Calgary ownership, have you just made this bed with Treliving and you got to ride it out, and then it's him and Sutter who both go at the same time? Or do you say, hey, man, you're out. You've had 7 years. You've had 5 head coaches. Nobody gets 7 years and 5 head coaches. Do you say, let's turn it over to Sutter? Cass, you're nodding here, buddy. How do you expect this to play out in Calgary?
I think he gets one more year. And even with the coaches thing, like you had the whole Peter situation, which it wasn't necessarily his fault, or wasn't his fault really. It was Peter's saying some stupid stuff that caused that one to happen. But yeah, I think just even the fact that the ownership gave him the ability, because he probably had to approve signing Sutter for 3 years, and ownership would have approved it. So I think they give him one more year here. Knowing that they may not make the playoffs, they may miss it based on how the season was at that point. And you give a head coach 3 years, I think he gets one more year. Now, maybe mid-season, I think you could see Treliving gone if things don't start well, and someone else brought in either mid-season or on an interim basis until the end of the season, and then possibly Sutter gone that off season. But they both will be there at the start of next year for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Cass, like halfway. I think he gets half the season, depending on how his team's doing. Like if they're struggling next season, December's rolling around and they're out of a playoff spot, I think he's in trouble there. Obviously, if they're doing well and they're well in a playoff spot, I think he lasts the year. But yeah, I think he's on thin ice right now. He will get next season to start, see what he does with some of his free agents and what he does to bring in players and all that. But yeah, I guess it depends on how they start in the first 2-3 months of next season. I think that's going to tell a lot about what happens with their GM.
Yeah, I think it'll. That's tough for a GM. That's not a. Yeah, I have to agree with Cass. I think it's a year. Even if I was trying to think if the Flames really stink up the joint and after 10 games they have a bad losing record, I thought, but that doesn't really. What does that really do? I don't. Maybe it does do something just with planning for the next year with the draft and getting someone in a little bit early. But yeah, I think he'll be there for a year. He gets one more year.
Hey, follow-up question then very quickly before we get to keep it or clip it. If he does stay, does he have to pull the trigger on some sort of significant trade this offseason? Like, he can't just dabble around in free agency and come back with the same group, can he?
Oh, yeah.
He's got to run stuff by people, though, doesn't he? Like, that's
the thing. If you're going to have somebody be like a lame duck GM, run everything by him, then what are you even doing keeping him around? Probably run everything by Sutter, to be honest with you.
That big deal is either what, Goudreau or Monahan, right? I mean, you're not.
Probably.
Kachuk is kind of your piece you're going to build around, and then Backlund and those guys are all in their 30s already. So if he's going to make a big deal, I think it's got to be. I know we keep talking about Johnny Gaudreau, who's probably out, but we don't know that. But is that the deal that kind of he has to make? Kind of the to kind of his last effort here to make make his team a playoff team again?
I still can't believe that it's plus 130 for Connor to finish with under 99.5 points. I keep looking at this thing and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. It's absolutely ridiculous. Jesus.
There's no words for this guy anymore, man. It's nuts. All right, let's get to Keep It or Clip It. Got a bunch of Oilers questions actually here for Keep It or Clip It today. So let's dive into these. Wrap up episode 138, I believe we're on. It will be known as Radioactive Nuts. Episode 138, Radioactive Nuts. All right, sorry to ask a Puljujarvi question here, Cass, just a heads up. With that being said, since you made your New Year's resolution, buddy, the guy's career has been turned around. So I put a lot of this on you, give you the credit for a lot of it. But Jesse Puljujarvi is a long-term fit next to Connor McDavid on the right side. Keep it or clip it.
I'll keep it. I think he's what is he at? 12 goals, does he?
Yeah, he's at 12.
12 goals. He's still young, only getting better. I think he's gonna who else? Really? I mean, you got to sign some players. You got to bring in a goaltender. You got to find left wingers. So it's worked so far this season, and I think it's only going to get better. So I say yes, keep it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it too. He's the steal of that draft as of right now. He's like Hernan said, he's only going to get better. And so is Connor. Just I love it.
So you guys put me in a unique position here because I want to say keep it, but you guys both said keep it. So I kind of want to offer a different perspective, but then I promise not to bash him in the new year. Maybe I'll just go this direction.
Pass.
I'll clip it because he hasn't changed his stick yet.
Gregor's Bane strikes on two guys at a goalie. All right. That was good, Cass. Okay, question number 2. Let's just go to NFL here for a second. By the way, the Jacksonville Jaguars are working out Tim Tebow as a tight end and may end up signing him. That's just moving here in the last 10 minutes, which is he's 34.
Jesus.
He's going to be 34 this year. It's why stop there? Bring in LeBron as well. Make it happen. The NFL draft is the best of the drafts to watch on television. Keep it or clip it.
Clip it. None of them. I find them boring. Like I will watch to see kind of what happens, but I'm not excited by them. Like I don't get all worked up. Like I did, I guess, for my own, but beyond that, it's just kind of like, it's interesting to see. Like I like watching it to see who's taking who, but I can do that without actually even watching live. It's like I can just have a board up in front of me and just hit refresh every once in a while and see who picked who. Like to be like, oh, they took them. Oh, they took them. But to me, it's not like, I don't know. It's not nearly as exciting as some people make it out to be. But that's just my opinion.
I'll clip it. I love the NHL draft. I even like it better on Saturday when it's on the NHL Network and the drafts picks are just coming in hot and heavy, and I love it, and I love the way they do it. NFL's a close second though, Dusty, but for me, NHL draft is number one.
Clip it. It brings back horrible memories of the sweaty, nasty Montreal Forum and me thinking I just leaked all the way back through my Armani suit. It was just, it's just terrible.
Armani suit.
Hey, that wasn't the same suit you were wearing on Sportsnet the other night, was it, Gage?
Not yet. Next time.
I want you to pull out your draft suit, buddy. You got to do that. That would be insane. That would be great.
Oh, that'd be good. That would be good.
Question number 3. James Neal will be in a healthy lineup for the Oilers in the playoffs. Keep it or clip it.
Oh.
Clip it. Nope. No, you have Puljujarvi back and you have Kassian back. Are you going to keep Neal in for one of those two guys? No.
Can't do it. There's no way.
Can't do it.
If Cassian's back, you can't do it.
Yeah, clip it. You can't. He looks. Yeah, clip. No, once those guys are back, they're coming in.
Yeah, I clip it too. I mean, there's too many guys ahead of him, and the foot speed's just no longer there for the. Well, I mean, he was never a speed guy, but you know what I mean. So I'll clip it. Yeah, I don't think he's going to draw in.
Final question. The Oilers should 100% get Bouchard some games here before the end of the season. Keep it or clip it.
Keep it. I'd like to see it. You're in a position where you can, so yeah, let's see him. Especially, yeah, doesn't make sense not to.
If the Oilers clinch here with 4 or 5 games or whatever it takes them to clinch, why don't you rest up a guy like Larsson who plays a bruising game? He's physical, and give him a day off. And yeah, so I wouldn't mind seeing Bouchard in 1 or 2 games here once they've clinched to rest some other veterans and get them ready for the playoffs.
Well, you've kept him around for nothing so far, so might as well get some use out of it and get him in there. Keep it.
You could just rotate each of the other guys out for 1 game down the stretch. Get him 3 games. Give Barry a night off. Give Larsson a night off. Give Bear a night off. Yeah. Work Bouchard through once, and there you go. He's got some game action if he gets called upon in the postseason. So it's something you can look at. Not going to happen, though. There's no way it's going to happen. Nope. But, yeah. All right. That's going to do it for a prediction tonight for the Battle of Alberta. Let's wrap up there. Let's go around the horn here. Gage, we'll start with you, buddy.
I don't know, but just bet Leon to score, and when he goes down and gets that empty netter, that was awesome. Bet on the game, just with shots, whatever. I got some. You know what? Lindholm always scores against the Oilers, so he's a good bet to score. But I got the Oilers winning tonight. It's a back-to-back, so I was a little leery about it, but I do have them to win. It's I think 4-2.
I said it earlier on my other podcast. I just think Calgary's catching Edmonton after a battle last night. Edmonton might be a little fatigued, a little just not feeling it tonight. So I do think they split, Dusty. So don't come at me, Oilers fans. But I think Calgary takes this one tonight.
I think Edmonton wins 4-1. McDavid gets 2 points, goal and an assist, and it continues the march to 100.
And we'll continue with that conversation on Monday with another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Boys, solid episode today. Enjoy that game tonight. Enjoy the other one on Saturday. We'll break down a couple of Battle of Alberta's on Monday's episode. Once again, Two Guys and a Goalie brought to you by friends at CoolBet. Go to coolbet.com, sign up for an account, use the promo code 2guys, number 2, word guys. You'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. Remember to stay cool, bet responsibly, and as Gage does, bet often to improve that Elo, which is what we're looking for.
My Elo's up, baby.
Episode 138. Radioactive Nuts. Thank you very much for downloading, and we'll catch up with you next week. See you later, boys.
Later, boys.
Bye.